one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Creation, Chapter 8, Prayers of Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved, text number 21. Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namah
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namah
Govindaya Namo Namah
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namah
Govindaya Namo Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha. Synonyms: Krishnaya, the Supreme Lord;
The Supreme Lord
Vasudevaya,
Vasudevaya
unto the son of Vasudev; Devaki Nandanaya,
Devaki Nandanaya
unto the son of Devaki;
unto the son of Devaki
Cha,
Cha
and
and
Nanda Gopa,
Nanda Gopa
Nanda and the cowherd men;
Nanda and the cowherd man
Kumaraya,
Kumaraya
unto their son;
unto their son
Govindaya,
Govindaya
unto the personality of Godhead who enlivens the cows and the senses.
unto the personality of Godhead who enlivens the cows and the senses.
Namaha,
Namaha
respectful obeisances.
respectful obeisances.
Namaha,
Namaha
obeisances.
obeisances.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation: Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudev, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. Translation with repetition. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances
Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances
unto the Lord,
unto the Lord,
who has become the son of Vasudev,
who has become the son of Vasudev,
the pleasure of Devaki,
the pleasure of Devaki,
the boy of Nanda and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan,
the boy of Nanda and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan,
and the enlivener of the cows and the senses.
and the enliveners of the cows and senses.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
The Lord, being thus unapproachable by any material assets, out of unbounded and causeless mercy descends to the earth, as he is, in order to show his special mercy upon his unalloyed devotees and to diminish the upsurges of the demoniac persons. Queen Kunti specifically adores the incarnation or descent of Lord Krishna above all other incarnations, because in this particular incarnation he is more approachable. In the Rama incarnation he remained a king's son for his very childhood, but in the incarnation of Krishna, although he was the son of a king, he at once left the shelter of his real father and mother, King Vasudeva and Queen Devaki, just after his appearance, and went to the lap of Yasoda Mai to play the part of an ordinary cowherd boy in the blessed Brajabhumi, which is very sanctified because of his childhood pastimes. Therefore Lord Krishna is more merciful than Lord Ram. He was undoubtedly very kind to Kunti's brother Vasudeva and the family. Had he not become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Queen Kunti could not claim him to be her nephew, and thus address Krishna in parental affection. But Nanda and Yashoda are more fortunate because they could relish the Lord's childhood pastimes, which are more attractive than all other pastimes. There is no parallel to his childhood pastimes as exhibited at Brajabhumi, which are replicas of his eternal affairs in the original Krishna Loka, described as the Chintamani Dham in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Shri Krishna descended himself at Brajabhumi with all his transcendental entourage and paraphernalia. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confirmed that no one is as fortunate as the residents of Brajabhumi, and specifically the cowherd girls who dedicated their everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. His pastimes with Nanda and Yashoda and his pastimes with the cowherd men, and especially with the cowherd boys and the cows, have caused him to be known as Govinda. Lord Krishna as Govinda is more inclined to the Brahmanas and the cows, indicating thereby that human prosperity depends more on these two items, namely the Brahminical culture and cow protection. Lord Krishna is never satisfied where these are lacking. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Wonderful, Hare Krishna. So, continuing out with our good fortune of discussing from Kunti Maharani's prayers in Kartik, this verse I think every one of us should memorize, even if we've not. Actually, all Kunti Maharani's prayers are very interesting, very powerful, but especially this verse is very dear to the Vaishnavas. So far we have seen Kunti Uvacha Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahiravastitam Maya Javanika Channam Agyadhokshajam Abhyayam Nalakshase Mudhadrisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha Yatha Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyemahi Striya Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Nama. Actually, this verse is so powerful and so meaningful, and how wonderful Prabhupada has explained this. We can never forget if we know the meanings. Let's see how much we can cover, limited time. So the verse is Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. These are all names of Krishna which are mentioned here. Krishnaya. Which vibhakti is this? Anybody familiar with Sanskrit? Don't remember. Balakaha balako balakaha balakam balako balakan balakena balakabhyam balakaihi balakaya balakabhyam balakebhya. So balakaya unto. This is the fourth this thing vibhakti. Krishnaya unto Krishna unto Vasudev. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya. These are all same as Balakaha. Devaki Nandana is one name of Krishna. Devaki Nandanaya unto Devaki Nandana. Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya. Nandagopa Kumar, one word, and Nandagopa Kumaraya. Govinda, one word, Govindaya. So all the fourth vibhakti. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances. If you pay attention, the word Namo Namaha is used Nama twice. Namo Namaha. Prabhupada translates the first Namo as respectful obeisances, Namaha as obeisances. How many times Kunti Maharani is doing I bow down, I bow down, I bow down, Namasya Purusham Tvadyam, then again she is telling Namo Namaha. Why is she saying that? We will see that. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord who has become the son of Vasudev. Who is that Lord? The son of Vasudev, Vasudevaya. Vasudev because he is son of Vasudev. Pleasure of Devaki, Devaki Nandanaya. Of course, Devaki Nandana means the son of Devaki, but Prabhupada translates it as the pleasure of Devaki. The boy of Nanda and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, Nanda Gopa Kumaraya, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses, the word Govinda. What is the meaning of the word enliven? Kuch to try, huh? Come to life. Ignite, huh? Awaken, joyful. Enliven is actually engladden, to give joy or to make someone blissful. So one thing is very interesting to know. The word Govinda has Go stands for cows and senses. And Vindaya who is giving pleasure to the cows and the senses, or who enlivens the cows and the senses. Can somebody think what is commonality between cows and senses? Because Go is referring to cows and it is also referring to senses. Govindaya Namo Namaha. Senses cannot give milk. So what is common between cows and the senses? One needs to herd the cows. Actually both cows and the senses, they wander away. They wander. They go here and there, they wander. So that is the problem. Because the senses, the words that we were seeing the other day, second chapter, Indriyanam hi charati, yan mano anubidhiyate. Indriyanam hi charati, yan mano anubidhiyate. So like the cows which are wandering, when the senses wander away, what happens is along with the senses they take away the mind. Mind forcibly, yan mano anubidhiyate, tasyaham harati pragyam. So because the mind also wanders away with the senses, it cannot be used in Krishna's service. But whereas Krishna is Govindaya, he enlivens, he engladdens the senses. The senses which are wandering away, those senses can be satisfied, pleased by Krishna. Govindaya Namo Namo. Actually, if we know the meaning of these words, of each words of Krishna, we will never forget this verse. It's very, very, very interesting, very powerful verse. And the verse is so beautifully explained by Prabhupada. Beautiful, actually. Let us see. So we have been seeing the previous verse. Tatha Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyema Hi Striya. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham. To whom? Muninam Amalatmanam. Unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Katham Pashyema Hi Striya. And now this one, today's verse, let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudev, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda and the cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. So if you break it down, Kunti Maharani is offering her obeisances. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Therefore is there, thus. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Namo Namaha. Who has become the son of Vasudev, Vasudevaya, the pleasure of Devaki, Devaki Nandanaya, the boy of Nanda and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, Nanda Gopakumaraya, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses, Govindaya. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 names of Krishna are there. Of course, Krishnaya is there, but Prabhupada has not given. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudev, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. So I've been telling that this is not prayers of Queen Kunti, this is teachings of Queen Kunti. So how many of you have read this book, Teachings of Queen Kunti? You have read. All of you have read. Okay. Whoa. Okay, very good. So if you read the 4th chapter, which we have titled as Approaching Krishna, the All-Pervading Truth. That is the title which which has been given by Prabhupada. Approaching Krishna, the All-Pervading Truth. And if we have to understand deeply this verse, the purport is super excellent. We will see a little bit from the purport, and we will also see what lecture Prabhupada has given from that, what we can understand. But we are racing against time and we have to cover a lot. So the purport, if you see, okay, let me share some of the insights. We may not be able to cover the whole thing, but you can take the way Prabhupada has explained it. Basically, there are 2 threads which are running here. Sometimes one plot can have multiple different threads, but here Prabhupada in his lecture and in his purport has explained about 2 threads. There are acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who has written a commentary called Sarartha Darsini on Bhagavatam. He says that Kunti Maharani wanted to glorify further. Govindaya, she has stopped there, but she wanted to go more, but she didn't. And why she didn't go, that he mentions. But basically, what are those 2 threads which are running? Let me first clarify that, then it will become easy. First thing which Prabhupada is explaining is Krishna is not some ordinary person. Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Of course, we have seen that Kunti Maharani is clarifying that from the first verse itself. Namasye Purusham Tvadyam. Namasye, I'm bowing down to that Lord, he is Purusham Tvadyam. Though he may appear my nephew, because I'm his father's sister, so I have a paternal relationship with him, but he is Purusham Adhyam. Namasya Purusham Tvadyam. So she has clarified this. In the purport, Prabhupada is explaining that Krishna, in the lecture, Prabhupada is explaining Krishna might be misunderstood because people don't know who Krishna is, that he is the Supreme Absolute Truth. So he is clarifying on that aspect of the Lord, who is the Supreme Absolute Truth, yet he is a person. And that person has got so many characteristics, like he is son of Vasudev, he is the pleasure of Devaki, he is the son of cowherd boy, Nanda and cowherd boys, and he is also the enlivener of cows and senses. That part Prabhupada explains in the lecture. But in the purport, Prabhupada explains something else. why Krishna likes to be called as Govinda, Devaki Nandanaya, Nandagopa Kumaraya, Vasudevaya. And what happens when somebody calls like that? Very beautiful explanations. So let's see the first one. In the purport, the first line begins, the Lord being thus unapproachable by any material assets. Okay, what are material assets? Money, okay. Huh? Properties, beauty. Okay, so if you read, actually the first sentence of this purport itself is packed with information. You think, okay, so पढ़ के चले जाना, हाँ समझ गया. The Lord, but if you see carefully, the Lord being thus unapproachable by any material assets. That means I've got money, bank balance, whatever, properties, cars, assets, all these things, if I have to tread, still the Lord is not understandable, is unapproachable. It doesn't matter to him how much material assets we have. The Lord being thus unapproachable by any material assets, intelligence, beauty, whatever it is, whatever you can claim as your material assets, the Lord is not approachable by that. But then he is telling out of unbounded and causeless mercy. What is the meaning of the word unbounded? Bound. What is the meaning of bound? So they have given water in this glass. Can the glass contain water more than what it is now? I mean, in the sense, if the glass is full, it cannot contain more than that. So it is bound. There is a size of the glass and it is bound. It cannot have more water than that. But the Lord is unbounded. Out of unbounded, the Lord's mercy is unbound. It cannot be measured. It cannot be put into some kind of a container. Unbounded and causeless mercy. One, it is unbounded. That means unlimited mercy. And causeless. There is no reason why the Lord has this mercy. Out of unbounded and causeless mercy, descends to the earth as he is, in order to show his special mercy upon his unalloyed devotees. So he descends to show his special mercy upon his unalloyed devotees and to diminish the upsurges of the demoniac persons. He comes on his own sweet will, sambhavami atmamayaya. And he comes for what? Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chaduskrutam. And to diminish the upsurges. So the first sentence, the first part, it is mentioned that the Lord being thus unapproachable by any material assets. We can't know the Lord, or we can't approach the Lord by our material assets. And that's all we have. But there is hope. And what is the hope? Out of unbounded and causeless mercy. There is a mercy of the Lord by which we can approach him. He descends to the earth as he is, in order to show his special mercy upon his unalloyed devotees. So if you become unalloyed devotees, then there is a chance that you can learn the Lord, and the Lord has unlimited mercy. Don't think that the Lord's mercy is very bounded, and there has to be a reason why the Lord has to bestow his mercy. No, it is causeless. So there is unbounded and causeless mercy only bestowed to the unalloyed devotees, and by that they can know. And to diminish the upsurges of the demoniac person. But if anybody is a demoniac person, then the Lord comes to upsurge, to diminish the upsurges of the demoniac persons. Anyway, these are all the sentence, as I said in this purport, is very, very powerful. So let us go a little deeper into the aspect of what Prabhupada is trying to explain. How great fortune is there for Vasudev, and how Devaki's fortune is more than Vasudev, and how Nanda Baba and Yashodamayi are even more fortunate than Vasudev and Devaki, and how Govinda or the cows are even more fortunate. And then as if it is as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Kunti Maharani wanted to say more about the gopis and about Radharani, but she stopped, because common people cannot understand this. And that's why Prabhupada also in the purport mentions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura sums up Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy in these 4 lines. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya taddhama vrindavanam. Ramya kachid upasana brajabadhu vargena ya kalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matan Midam Tatrarpita Nadaraha. So very beautiful. Aradhyo Bhagavan. We have to worship whom? The Supreme Absolute Truth, the aspect of Supreme Absolute Truth, which is a person, Bhagavan. Aradhyo Bhagavan. Which kind of Bhagavan? Any Bhagavan? No, Brajesha Tanaya. The Lord who was there in Vrindavan, who performed this wonderful pastimes of Vrindavan. He also was there in Dwaraka. There is the worship of the Lord as Rukmini Dwarikadesh, approved. But Aradhyo Bhagavan, Brajesha Tanaya. The pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan are super ecstatic. Aradhyo Bhagavan, Brajesha Tanaya, Taddhama Vrindavanam. And equally worshipable. The second thing is, equally worshipable to the Lord is his abode, which is Vrindavan. That's what is mentioned in this. So Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya Taddhama Vrindavanam Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam. This is the third thing. We have to see Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spotless Purana, non-different from the Lord. Ramya Kachid Upasana Brajabadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. And of all the kinds of worship, the highest worship is the worship of the gopis. Ramya Kachid Upasana Brajabadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam Prema Pumartha Mohan. The fifth one is, our goal of life should be not dharma, artha, kama, moksha, but prema pumartha mahan. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy in the 5 things, which is summarized in the end, towards the end of this purport, where Prabhupada stops. Like, if the car is going at a very high speed, all of a sudden you can't bring it to a normal this thing. It takes time. Something similar to that, this one Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya, Nanda Gopa Kumaraya, Govindaya. And then all of a sudden Kunti Maharani stops. And Prabhupada also was explaining this, how that Nanda Baba is more fortunate than Devaki and Vasudev. Or Vasudev, Devaki is more fortunate than Vasudev because Devaki gave birth to Krishna. More than Devaki, Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mai, because Krishna performed his childhood pastimes with them. He just took birth there, but they didn't see the childhood pastimes. So Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mai are more fortunate. But even more fortunate are the cows. Cows and the cowherd boys, they are even more fortunate than that. So there is fortunate, more fortunate, and the most fortunate. And the most fortunate is the gopis, and of course amongst them Radharani. So there is a very beautiful verse which comes. To understand these things, it requires a little bit of context. Maybe we will not be able to go to the thread 2, but let's understand this thread 1. Iti nanda dayo gopaha. I didn't want you to chant, but okay. Krishna Rama Katham Muda Kurbanto Ramamanascha Navindan Bhavavedanam. So if you see from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, how fortunate this cowherd boys and Nanda. Iti Nanda Adi Gopaha. Iti Nanda Dayo Gopaha Krishna Rama Katham Muda. They used to describe, they used to discuss amongst themselves with great pleasure the activities and the pastimes of Krishna and Rama. Rama is referring to Balaram. Iti Nanda Dayo Gopaha Krishna Rama Katham Muda Kurbanto Ramamanascha Navindan Bhavavedanam. Kurbanto Ramamanascha. When you discuss Harikatha, when you discuss the pastime Krishna and Balaram, they are so enchanting and engladdening and enlivening. Kurbanto Ramamanascha. The mind becomes completely pleased, peaceful, satisfied. Navindan Bhavavedanam. Navindan Bhavavedanam is a very interesting phrase which is used by Sukadev Goswami. Navindan Bhavavedanam. Bhavavedanam, this Bhava, this samsara has got a lot of problems, miseries. But because they were absorbed in discussing about Harikatha, Krishna Rama Katha Mudam. Mudam is, it's always giving pleasure. Krishna Rama Katha Mudam. Navindam Bhavavedanam. Even if there are material miseries which are inflicted upon us, it was not affecting them. This is the beauty of the residents of Brajavasis. Iti Nanda Dayo Gopaha Krishna Rama Katha Muda Kurbanto Ramamanascha Navindan Bhavavedanam. Every day in the morning we sing this song. Samsara dava nala leedha loka. What is the meaning of the word dava nala? ओए आग किधर लग रहा है? जंगल में जब आग लगा हुआ है, फॉरेस्ट फायर, imagine if for highest imagination, if you are stuck there in that forest, चारों तरफ आग ही आग है, भयंकर आग लगा है, हीट बहुत आ रहा है बॉडी में, and everywhere there is it's all people are the animals are running here and there. तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे? What should we do there in the forest fire? ढूंढेंगे कुछ खाने के लिए मिलेगा क्या कहीं कहाँ से कुछ कचौड़ी या कुछ फ्राई मिल जाए या ऐसा कुछ हो तो बस हम बैठ के वहाँ खाएं. But unfortunately our situation is like that. We are in this samsara, which is a repeated cycle of birth and death, and it is compared to a davanala, but we are not bothered. Why? Because there is a magician called Maya. Maya javanika channam agyadhokshajam abhyayam nalakshase mudhadrusha nato natyadharo yatha. Maya javanika, it does not allow us to see it properly. If everybody realizes that the samsara is davanala, then nobody would stay here. But there is a covering of the Maya which makes us forget, which makes us believe that still things are, I'm in control of things. It's okay, I can manage. That example which Prabhupada gives of that of a frog, if that frog is put in a hot water, boiling hot water, if a frog is put, immediately it will jump out. But if it is slow boiled, like they make this kheer and all, मिल्क बिठा के हम लोग सो जाते हैं 2 घंटा 3 घंटा जो भी है, सो गए आया मिल्क बॉयल होके रेडी है. Something like that. The slow boiling doesn't allow us to experience the pain. Boil हो रहा है धीरे धीरे हाँ adjust करेंगे, we will adjust and that's how life becomes this thing. But navindan bhava vedanam, when we are that slow boiling, we get the slaps of Maya. It's not like we are not getting, but the slaps are not so hard and not very continuously. It's not like continuously slaps are coming. No, there is little bit of gap, and that little bit of gap is making us feel, it's fine. In this way, all the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj enjoyed topics about the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram with great transcendental pleasure, and they could not even perceive material tribulations. This aspect of Bhagavatam is very beautifully explained in these verses. Maybe I'll spend some time in sharing some verses. You should see how beautifully this keeps coming in Bhagavatam again and again. There is a verse which comes in the beginning of Bhagavatam where Sutta Goswami, before he begins to answer the questions, he says, Munayo sadho prashtoham bhavadbhirloka mangalam yat katha krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidhati. So he's telling Munayo sadho prashtoham, you have asked so many wonderful questions. Why? Bhavadbhir loka mangalam. This is meant for the auspiciousness of people. Bhavadbhir loka mangalam. Yat katha Krishna samprashno. Because this is related to Krishna, yenatma suprasidhati. And in that purport, actually one should read that purport many times. Prabhupada is saying, everywhere you go, there are people who are asking questions. There are birds, they get up in the morning, they're asking, they're chirping and asking, where is my food? Where is my food? Where can I get my food? You go to some legislator, you go to some court, there are some lawyers who are asking questions. You go to some lab, the PhD postdoc students, they are asking questions. You go to some other place, some business, this thing, there are all these businessmen who are coming, they are asking questions. But none of them are satisfied because they are not asking questions related to Krishna. Yat katha Krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidhati. That is why Parikshit is asking, go on talking about Krishna. Actually, we also sometimes in the if you read the lecture which Prabhupada has given in this 4th chapter, Prabhupada is saying we are working like ass. Very big time we are working. Why? Because we are thinking economic prosperity should be, that is the goal of our life. That is what is, that is what drives us. We have to work hard somehow to maintain ourselves. But what we are not realizing, as per the Prabhupada's instruction in the lecture, in the purport, as Prabhupada is writing, that there are big, mighty, huge elephants who eat tons of food. They are not worried about their food. But we are thinking, kahan se bread aega? Give me, oh Lord, give me my daily bread. We have created a bread problem out of our ignorance. Actually, the Lord will sanction. If we have faith, if we have conviction on His shelter, big elephants can be maintained. Can He not maintain us if we are devotees? but we are busy. Rather, he's telling our goal of life should only be to hear about Krishna, as Parikshit did. And when we hear that, we automatically become cleansed, purified of our polluted aims of life, and we can go back home, back to Godhead, as it happened in the case of Parikshit. Interestingly, at the beginning of 10th canto, when Parikshit had asked some questions, then he's telling, Etadanyaccha sarvam me mune Krishna vicheshtitam bhaktum arhasi sarvagya shraddha dhanaya vistritam. So he's telling, I have asked you certain questions, Sukadeva Goswami, but there may be some questions which I have not asked you. Etadanyaccha sarvam me, and this is after 4th day. And Sukadeva Goswami is concerned that Parikshit Maharaj is not eating anything, not drinking anything. What if, he is tired? But Parikshit Maharaj is giving an indication of his own state of mind. Etadanyaccha sarvam me mune Krishna vicheshtitam vaktum arhasi sarvagya shraddha dhanaya vistritam. Mune Krishna vicheshtitam. Oh, Sukadeva Goswami, I may not have asked all the questions, but you please don't, the questions that I have not asked, that also you should explain me. And how should you explain that? Vicheshtitam, in great vistratam, in elaborately you should describe. Vaktum arhasi sarvagya, because you are sarvagya, you know everything. And I am Shraddha Dhanaya. I have got firm faith and I am eager to hear. Prabhupada explains about this combination many times. Often the Shrota or the audience, they are not having any eagerness. They come as a ritual, they find it very difficult to sit, no attention. Some things are some disturbances. Actually, if somebody comes prepared in his mind, in his body-mind disposition for Bhagavatam, revolution can happen. But usually we are not prepared. We'll have, and we will see in further verses also how it is beautifully explained. So the combination, if it is right, somebody who's coming in the proper parampara, and then there is the Shraddha Dhanaya is translated by Prabhupada as, because I am not envious, but have all faith in him. A great says, who knows everything about Krishna, please describe in detail all the activities of which I have inquired, and also those of which I have not, or for I have full faith, and I am very eager to hear of them. Shraddha Dhanaya is a very important thing. So when we have full faith, and I'm not envious, because I'm not envious, but I have full faith in him, then there is actually Lord manifests in the heart. This thing is also mentioned earlier when Sutta Goswami answered all the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya. That time the sages of Naimisharanya are telling to Sutta Goswami, Tanno bhavan vai bhagavat pradhano mahattam ekanta parayanasya hare rudaram charitam vishuddham shushusatam no vitanattu vidvan. Tanno bhavan vai bhagavat pradhano. You are Bhagavat Pradhan. You know the signs of God. Mahattam ekanta parayanasya hare rudaram charitam vishuddham. Oh, the characteristics, the pastimes of the Lord are vishuddham. Hare rudaram charitam vishuddham. Pure topics. They can cleanse. Because of our contamination in the heart, because of the pollution in our mind, we don't find it attractive. The same thing, it is getting repeated, it looks like. But these people, these devotees, they from their example like Vedavyas, Sukadeva Goswami, they're showing how powerful this is. Hare rudaram charitam vishuddham shushrushatam no vitanattu vidvan. Shushrushatam. So you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, if the man is potent and if the woman is fertile, when they meet, then there is a child. Similarly, if the speaker is Mahattamaikantasya Parayanasya, and the audience is Sushushatam. Sushushatam is those who are receptive. Then in the combination, the Lord manifests in the heart. It can happen. Then, so this is, Parikshit again clarifies that, don't think, Naisati dushahak shunmam tyaktodam api badhate pibantam tvan mukham bhoja chutam hari kathamratam. So he's telling, don't think, oh Sukadev Goswami, that I'm suffering, I'm not eating, I'm not drinking, don't think that I'm tired. Why? Then what are you doing? Pibantam tvan mukham bhoja chutam hari kathamratam. I'm drinking the nectar of Hari Katha, so I'm fully satisfied. continue talking about this. Because of my vow on the verge of death, I have given up even drinking water. Yet, because I am drinking the nectar of topics about Krishna, which is flowing from the lotus mouth of your Lordship, my hunger and thirst, which are extremely difficult to bear, cannot hinder me. च्युतम हरिकथामृतम. हम लोगों को यहाँ से 5 मिनट हो जाता है. च्युतम हरिकथामृतम कौन सा है? हंगर थर्स्ट आधा सो के पड़ गिर जाते हैं, आधा कुछ और करके चले जाते हैं. भाई छोड़ दे. But this is what is the standard. Chitam Harikathamritam. This is the process. Actually, Prabhupada says this again and again. I'm giving you these examples, how we should prepare, how we should develop to understand this. This is again, Evam Nisamya Bhrigunandana Sadhuvadam Vaishakhi Sa Bhagavan Atha Vishnu-ratam Pratyarcha Krishna Charitam Kalikalma Sagnam Vyahartham Arbhata Bhagavata Pradhana. Evam Nisamya Bhrigunandana. Saunaka Rishi is actually the son of Bhrigu. Evam Nisamya. So Sutta Goswami is telling, Evam Nisamya Bhrigunandana Sadhuvadam. Sadhu, I mean this is pious questions. Evam Nisamya Bhrigunandana Sadhuvadam Vayasaki. Vayasaki is son of Vyasadeva, that is Sukadeva Goswami. Vayasaki sa Bhagavan Atha Vishnu-ratam. And the other side it is Parikshit. A great combination. One is a unalloyed pure devotee of the Lord who is going to describe the glories of the Lord. Glories of the Lord are always pure, but coming it from the mouth of a pure devotee, Vayasaki sa Bhagavan Atha Vishnu-ratam. And the Shrota on the other side, oh, fully attentive, Vishnu-ratam. Pratyarcha Krishna Charitam Kali Kalma Sagnam. All these impurities of Kali which is there deeply, not just super on the surface level, little bit of layer. No, these are all piles and piles of dust. Kali Kalmasa. Pratyarcha Krishna Charitam Kali Kalma Sagnam. Gnam. It will destroy, it will diminish the troubles of this age of Kali. Vyahartum Arbhata Bhagavata Pradhana. The son of Bhrigu, after Sukadeva Goswami, the most respectable devotee, the son of Vyasadeva, heard the pious questions of Maharaj Parikshit. He thanked the king with great respect. Then he began to discourse on topics concerning Krishna, which are the remedy for all sufferings in this age of Kali. Then there is a verse which comes, which often Prabhupada quotes, and it's a very beautiful verse. It talks about the glories. So what is happening is, the relative greatness of fortune of these people, how to understand this. So one of the verses which is it's a prayer which is offered by Brahma. He's telling, Aho bhagyam Nanda Gopa Brajokasham Yanmitram Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. Aho bhagyam, oh what great fortune, what great fortune. Nanda Gopa Brajokasham. Nanda Gopa, this residents of Vraja, Nanda Gopa, what is their great fortune? Yanmitram Paramanandam. Actually, Krishna, the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is playing like a cowherd boy, like their friend. Yanmitram Paramanandam, Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. He is Purna Brahma Sanatana, he is complete, he is Brahma, he is Sanatana, he is eternal. But he is playing like an ordinary cowherd boy, like a friend to them. Aho bhagyam. This is Sukadeva Goswami. The great transcendentalist is telling Nanda Gopa Brajokasham. How great fortune is there. But this prayer is offered by whom, I said? Very good. Awake soul. Good. So this prayer is offered by Brahma. One may question why Brahma is praying like this. So to understand this, the first prayer which Brahma offers, beautiful prayer actually. And this prayer has a clue as to why Brahma is telling Aho bhagyam, Aho bhagyam. If you want, you can repeat. Naumidyate bhrabapuse tadid ambaraya. Okay, 10:14:1. This is. If you want, you can open this. Naumidyate abhrabapuse tadid ambaraya. Gunjabatam sapariprichay lasanmukhaya. Vanyashraje kavalavetra vishana venu. Lakshma shriye mrudupade pasupanga jaya. You found the verse? It is not 10:14:1? It is, right? It's the first prayer. Kyun nahi mila, Badri? Naumidyate bhrabapuse tadidambaraya gunsparipicchala sanmukhaya. Vanyasraje Kavalavetra Vishana Venu Lakshma Shriye Mridupade Pasupangajaya. Actually, the more you chant this, the beauty. Actually, this is the prayer which is offered by Brahma after the Brahma Bimohan Lila happened, where he was bewildered. So he's praying to this. He's praying to Krishna. Naumidyate abhravapuse. Naumidyate. I'm praying my obeisances. Abhravapuse. Naumidyate abhravapuse tadidambaraya. Abhravapuse is the body of Krishna is like a dark cloud, dark monsoon cloud. Naumidyate abhravapuse tadidambaraya. And look at the contrast. He's wearing a yellow garment, and that yellow garment is appearing like a lightning. So dark cloud and the lightning. Naumidyate abhravapuse tadidambaraya. Gunja batams. Gunja is berries. Batams, he's put some berries on his ears. Decorated his ears with gunja. Gunja batams paripicha lasan mukhaya. Paripicha is the peacock feather. Paripicha lasan mukhaya, and his face is resplendent, is dazzling, is beautiful. Gunja batams paripicha lasan mukhaya. Vanyashraje is wearing a forest flower. Vanamali. Vanyashraje, so there is a forest flower that he is wearing. Kavala Betra Vishana Venu. Kavala Betra. Kavala in his left hand, he's got some curd rice. Kavala Betra Vishana Venu. Betra is that, what do you call that? The bugle, no, not the bugle, that horn, buffalo horn. Batra Vishana Venu. Venu is flute. And a stick. Kavala Betra Vishana Venu. Lakshma Shriye Mridupade Pasupangajaya. Lakshma Shriye Mridupade. His feet are very, very soft, very tender. Pasupangajaya. Pasupangajaya is actually son of Nanda Maharaj, who is herding the cows, who's got this pasus, his son. So this is a beautiful prayer. Brahma is telling, oh my God, who this Supreme Lord, whom I just couldn't fathom, whom I couldn't understand. Now I'm paying my obeisances. Now midyate bhravapuse tadidambaraya. Gunja batams paripichala sanmukhaya. Vanyashraje kavalavetra vishana venu. Lakshma shriye mudupade pasupangajaya. So when we hear these prayers, then Brahma is realizing my mistake. I thought it's some ordinary cowherd boy. Left hand he is having some curd rice with all this kind of dress. He is properly looking like a cowherd boy. How can he be the Supreme Absolute Truth? How can he be the Supreme Lord? This is what Brahma's prayers. My dear Lord, you are the only worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore I offer my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. O son of the king of the cowherds, your transcendental body is dark blue like a new cloud. Your garment is brilliant like lightning, and the beauty of your face is enhanced by your gunja earrings and the peacock feather on your head. Wearing garlands of various forest flowers and leaves, and equipped with a herding stick, a buffalo horn, and a flute, you stand beautifully with a morsel of food in your hand. Then he's telling, if you can hear, this is the second prayer. Ashyapi deva vapuso madanugrahasya swecha mayasya natu bhuta mayasya kopi nese mahito avasthitam manasantarena shakshat taveva kimuttama sukhanubhute. Very beautiful. Actually, when he understands that this is the Supreme Lord and I did a mistake, and seeing his form, he is feeling so much of happiness. He's thinking that just by seeing this beautiful form of the Lord, if it is giving me so much happiness, what to speak of the Lord himself, who's actually, the Supreme Lord, how much of happiness he will be experiencing inside. My dear Lord, neither I nor anyone else can estimate the potency of this transcendental body of yours, which has shown such mercy to me, and which appears just to fulfill the desires of your pure devotees. Although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, I cannot understand your personal form. How then could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within yourself? So Brahma, after he comes back to his senses, the body of Brahma is made up of only intelligence. Our body is made up of earth, water, air, fire, ether, little bit of intelligence, 2%, 3% or 5%, that also we don't utilize. But Brahma is 100% intelligence. And with that he got bewildered, and when he came back to senses, he's offering these prayers. And then after that comes his prayers, Aho Bhagyam, Aho Bhagyam. He's telling how wonderful, how fortunate how great fortunate this Nandagopa Brajokasham. Yanmitram Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. So one question which Prabhupada in his purport is trying to explain in thread 1, and this what we are trying to say, how the gradation of the fortune of different people are there. Vasudev, then there is Devaki, then Nandagopa. Especially the childhood pastimes of Krishna are very attractive. There are all these wonderful descriptions of the childhood pastimes are given in Krishna book and in Bhagavatam 10th canto also. There is one pastime where these cowherd boys, they will Krishna will be standing at a distance, and then they will run towards him. Aham purbam iti brahma remire. So they want to go and touch Krishna, and they will come rushing towards Krishna, and they almost touch at the same time, and then they fight amongst themselves. Aham purbam. No, I did it. I touched first. This is one of the pastimes which is mentioned. And the other one is, Krishna, when they bring all these cowherd boys, when they bring their lunch boxes with them, so he will taste from every one of them and he will comment. So he would ask, who has made this? So let's say Subala, he will say that it is made by my mom. Oh, this is so delicious. Your mom is a very good cook. And somebody else, he'll ask, let's say Sudama, who has made this? Or he'll say somebody like my grandmother has made this. Is not a good cook. Like this, he would comment on each of their lunch boxes. And after that, that lunch box is thrown. So somebody, he's sitting there and he'll throw the lunch box to another person. So this person goes to the second person. When he goes there, he throws it to the third person, and they keep playing like this. So this is the greatest fortune of the people who come and play with Krishna. In our life, we are just getting stuck and we are fighting amongst each other and in this material world, trying to be happy in this non-permanent place. But this is aho bhagyam nanda gopak prajokasham yan mitra paramanandam purna brahma sanatanam. Can we get that fortune? Is it possible for us? Can we also be part of that? Answer is yes. In this verse, I want all of you to repeat. You can repeat after me. This verse we had spoken in our Ramayana play that you had done. So let us repeat. Shrutasya pumsam suchirashramasya nanvanjasa suribhiridito arthaha tat gunanu shravanam mukunda padaravindam hridayeshu yesham. Shrutasya pumsam suchirashramasya nanvanjasa suribhiridito arthaha tat gunanu shravanam mukunda padaravindam hridayeshu yesham. Shrutasya pumsam. Actually, how we can get the same fortune as that of the cowherd boys, or how we can go to the same position, how we can be with Krishna is revealed in this. Shrutasya. Shrutasya is to hear. Shrutasya pumsam suchira shramasya. How should we hear? All these things are important. You have to hear what suchira, not weekly once, Sunday, that also with lot of difficulty. No, suchira, for long time. Shrutasya pumsam suchira shramasya. Shramasya is another. We have to put endeavor. Not that the moment Bhagavatam class starts, we go into another world. Sleep. Gaya. Khatam ho gaya. Bhagavatam, Arkantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We come back to our senses. Shrutasya pumsam suchira shramasya. For long time, with endeavor. Nanvo anjasa suribhir idito artha. Anjasa. Anjasa is translated by Prabhupada as elaborately. So the descriptions, like the other day we were talking about the killing of Aristashur. Aristashur is the bull demon. When it came, it was trying to charge at Krishna, but Krishna was standing on the side of his cowherd boy, keeping his hand on him, and on the other side he's composing a song, and playing his flute. All these things. So that enraged Aristashur like anything. All the details. Anjasa. Aristashur, bull demon, killed. Khatam. Kunti for Krishna Vasudeva. No, with great detail. Nanva Anjasa. Then Suribhir, by pure devotees. You can't hear it from anybody, at least hear from the books of Prabhupada. Beautifully explained. Nanva Anjasa Suribhir. Idito Artha. Idito Artha means you have to see it from different angles. All these things if somebody does. Shrutasya Pumsam, Suchira, Shramasya, Nanva Anjasa, suribhir idito artha. Then tat gunanu shravanam mukunda padara vindam hridayeshu esham. Then what will happen is, in the hearts of the devotees, the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead who awards liberation will immediately manifest. And when that happens, actually the next thing that happens is we take birth in Bhauma Vrindavan, which is a replica of actual Goloka Vrindavan, and get a chance to play with Krishna. But these are the things which are required. It's not easy, but it is doable. This should be our goal. Shrutasya pumsam suchira shramasya nanvanjasa suribhiridito arthaha tattad gunanu shravanam mukunda padara vendam hridayeshu esham. So this is thread 1 actually. Thread 2 is all about how Krishna, which may be confused or which people may misunderstand that Krishna is just an ordinary boy, but Prabhupada talks about the word Vasudev there, which is there in the lecture. Vasudev means, anybody knows what is the meaning of the word Vasudev, apart from being the son of Vasudev? Full pin drop silence. इतना बढ़िया silence मिलता है. Where else you have heard the word Vasudeva? Huh? Vasudeva? Suddha Sattva. Where you heard? Suddham Visuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. That is not Suddha Sattva. You're right. Suddha Sattva. Vasudeva is the state, that is one consciousness which is beyond the mode of goodness. But also the word Vasudeva means all pervading. What do you mean by all pervading? Huh? Everywhere. So where is Vasudeva? How is it everywhere? As Paramatma. He is there in each one of our hearts. The Lord, He is all pervading. He is there in every single atom. He is also there in our hearts as Paramatma. So Prabhupada's definition of Krishna is Vasudev, and he is telling Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Lot of this impersonalists, they do all kinds of speculations, they meditate, they endeavor hard. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan, but they come back to this understanding that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna, is non-different from me. I am that same person, and they surrender. It takes many births. But one quality, one of the prerequisite there is Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma. Mahatma Sudurlabha. That Mahatma, Prabhupada says, is a broad-minded person, not a cripple-minded. Cripple-minded persons are only concerned about their own self, and that's how they can mitigate the miseries or the difficulties that are coming to them. They have no understanding of another person who is superior. They're not able to, there is that strong sense of envy which prevents them to surrender to Krishna. And as per that thread, the way in which we can understand Krishna is by Sevan Mukhehi Jivvado Swayameva Spruhatiyada. Anybody knows that verse fully? Very good. Atas Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevan mukhehi jivvado swayameva spruhatiyada. Very beautiful process. Process is simple. We cannot understand or fathom the Lord by our gross material senses. Atas Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai. It is impossible. But sevan mukhehi jivvado, when we engage in devotional service, starting with our tongue, the tongue has got two business. To chant and to take prasadam. If these two things we are doing, Sevan Mukhehi Jivvado, starting with our tongue, Swayam Eva Spruhatiyada. Just because you are chanting, just because you are taking prasadam, doesn't mean that it guarantees. No, Swayam, the Lord manifests out of His mercy. He will, it is not like it is our birth, it is our right. No, the Lord will manifest out of His mercy. That is what in the first line Prabhupada is explaining. Unbounded and causeless mercy, the Lord can reveal Himself to us. So Kunti Maharani is revealing these things, and that's why she is telling Namo Nama. Even Brahma got confused looking at this childhood pastimes of the Lord. But look at those great fortune of those cowherd boys, Nanda Baba, Aho Bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Brajokasham. Yanmitra Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. So we should know how great this fortune of this people who were associates of Krishna and they were performing these wonderful pastimes. These are some of the things. There is a lot of details in this. If you read more carefully, you can appreciate this very nicely. Any questions? Any comments? Yes. Kamal, कुछ है question?
Probably it's related a little bit. So in the spiritual world, everything is a personality, even like living, non-living. Over there, even the non-living, let's say comparatively, is a personality.
Correct.
Right? Everything. I can't fathom the idea of why is everything a personality there versus here. Is it because the material nature is converted as personality there?
No, Prabhupada clarifies that. See, matter remains matter when we want to use it for our service, for our sense business. Matter becomes spirit when we use it for Krishna's service, right? So here also, I mean, the trees, the creepers, they have life, but they are in deep ignorance. They don't know. But in Vrindavan, it is not the case. Even the smallest of creepers, smallest of whatever, the gulmas and those things, they are aware of Krishna's presence. When Krishna walks, they turn, they hang, whatever they can do, they want to do so that they get the touch of Krishna. Same holds true even river is a person. I mean, we say the Ganges and the Yamuna in the whole world have been classified as persons, personalities. It is acknowledged. So river is a person, mountain is a person, stone is a person. Just because our the covering of ignorance is so much in this case in the material world because of the conditioning, we are not able to see. We're not acknowledging a person as a living being or something. We just treat them as like animals. We don't even consider that they have life. But in spiritual world, forget about the living entities. Even the like inanimate things are considered to be alive. And
It's a follow-up question there. So all the inanimate things are considered to be in the Shantaras?
Considered to
Shantaras.
be Santarash, yeah. They are
all
considered in
everything.
Santaras. Actually, Prabhupada in this purport mentions, if you see carefully, that Krishna is more merciful than Lord Ram. Right? Why? Because when Krishna comes, he allows even the smallest of what do you call the inanimate objects to participate in his pastimes. Lord Ram doesn't have, he is just one Ekapati Brata. Father told that, that promise that you have to go for 14 years, he just followed that. Krishna doesn't, I mean, he breaks all kinds of rules and regulations and he allows everybody to come together. That Aishwarya is very subdued in his, the Madhurya, this thing that he displays. That is why Krishna's pastimes are more attractive. He allows everybody to participate in this. Even if you become, that's the prayer of Uddhav, where he's saying that if I become a small grass in Vrindavan, which is trampled by the gopis, I would consider that to be a great fortune. So even if, somehow if somebody takes birth in Goloka Vrindavan, which is a replica of the actual Vrindavan, not Goloka Vrindavan, Bhauma Vrindavan, I mean the Vrindavan which is here, it's an actual replica of Goloka Vrindavan. And Krishna is displaying his eternal pastimes which he does in Vrindavan. So you be there as a small creeper, as some leaf or something, that itself is a great fortune. Where is that Lord Ram? There is no parallel to his childhood pastimes as exhibited in Brajabhumi, which are the prototypes of his eternal affairs in the original Krishna Loka, described as the Chintamani Dham in Brahma Samhita. In the Ram incarnation, he remained a king's son from his very childhood. But in the incarnation of Krishna, although he was the son of a king, he at once left the shelter of his real father and mother and then just after his appearance and went to the lap of Yasoda Mai to play the part of an ordinary cowherd boy in the blessed Brajabhumi, which is very sanctified because of his childhood pastimes. We'll stop here and continue to see this further. Granthra Srimad